All right, hello everyone. This is Jack Bosch, and we welcome to the Tuesday afternoon bonus session. And today's subject is pivoting to profit. And I'm here not with beautiful Michelle and super smart Michelle, but I'm here with handsome and also super smart Mike Smyre. Hey, Mike, how are you doing?
What's happening, Jack? I'm well. I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So let me see if people are coming in. Yeah, I see one person is watching us. So as you come in, we're going to get started in just a moment. We came on just a minute early in order to be able to make sure that you guys catch us right from the get-go. And so yes, I hope you guys. It looks like you guys enjoyed this morning session. Our team reported that you guys that there's lots of great feedback coming in. Howdy, Aristeo. And most importantly, before you come in live, click on the allow StreamYard to actually show your name, because otherwise we're going to have a whole bunch of people here that just say, well, I only see Facebook user, Facebook user, Facebook user, and I won't be able to address you by name if you don't give us your name. So right there, starting already, Facebook user says hello. Facebook user says, like, yay, my two favorite fellows. A Facebook user says, hi from Tampa. Make sure you allow StreamYard to say hello, right? There, Andrew says, hi, Orlando. Wonderful. Say, hey, Mike. So I'm super excited to have you on here. Let me introduce Mike to everyone here. Mike is one of our head coaches. Actually, he's the head coach of our coaching organization, but also he's one of our own students that came through our own system. He got the land profit generator. He got our training. He got the maximizer workshop. He got into coaching, and he just like rocked it. In his first year, he did 60 deals. In his second year, he did close to 100 deals. And this year, Mike, how many deals are you going to do this year?
I just did 40 lots this month, so I don't do a lot. I don't do a lot. I mean, it's hard to put a number on it right now.
4-0 this month in September of this year. Boom. Right.
That's a good month. That's a good month.
That sounds like it was a fantastic. So, so great. So, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, again, let me quickly introduce myself. If this is the first session you see, my name is Jack Bosch. I'm the co-founder of the Land Profit Generator, or the Land Profit Generator Methods. And with my wife, Michelle, we were online this morning as well as yesterday. We're going to be online every single morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, as well as many afternoons, not all of them, but many afternoons at 2 p.m. So I'm super excited to be here. We are walking you through this 9-day period through the A's and O's and all the different pieces of our land flipping method. Why land flipping? Because there's no tenants, toilets, and termites. It's simpler than house flipping. You can do the exact same thing that you do with house flipping, just without the houses. Therefore, without any repairs. You don't have to meet somebody at somebody's kitchen table to convince them to sell the property to you. You don't have to rehab the place. You don't have to have it even seen. You can do this virtually from anyone, et cetera, all the reasons we're done. And we are the #1 incubator for land flipping in the country. We're the Harvard of land flipping. And Mike is a great representation of our program because he came from house flipping. You can tell us quickly your story to give us a little quick update about, so people know who they're having here as joining me today.
Yeah, happy to. Thank you, Jack. So, I mean, how far should I take it back? I'll take it back to college years. I spent some time at a college out west, and I was working for a corporation at the time. I was working in their call center, and that's an interesting task in itself, right? And while working there, I helped my team grow, and we grew really, really fast. We grew really, really well. The average team, we'll just put it on contract renegotiations. They were doing like 200 a month. My team, we ended up doing 600 a month. They wanted me to come on and be a manager, and I couldn't do that with my college workload. And so I said no, and they gave me the boot, right? So kicked me right out of there. So I waited till I got my summer bonus. I moved on. I started mopping the floors. I had a little bit of money. I was recently married, and I was mopping the floors at the college at night, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, or looking for another sales place where I could work 4 hours a day and make some good money. And I had a friend who gave me a phone call that I helped manage over at that call center. And he said, hey, look, my aunt's into real estate. She needs an assistant. I've been fascinated with real estate since I was a kid. I mean, it's like borderline obsessed with it. So I jumped at the opportunity. I met with her. I ended up being her assistant, traveled the nation doing some info marketing type things. And I learned about house flipping and house wholesaling, right? So we started doing, actually partnered up with her. We started doing some wholesaling together. We took some homes down. She gave me the marketing money. We deducted it out and had a great split. I branched off from her and ended up finding another partner in the area, and he was one of the top house investors in the nation. And I was lucky enough to be his partner after a short time, and I ended up doing hundreds of house deals after that. And then I ended up back here in my home, North Carolina, set up the largest wholesaling operation in Western North Carolina with my best friend Patrick, and we did that for 2 years, had a ton of fun, and built a pretty cool business. And from there, I was riding with Patrick, and I realized that I needed to grow more, and he has a very strong personality. I have a very strong personality. And I was like, man, if the business is going to go where I want it to go, right? I don't know that I can do it with him, and I don't know that he wants to do it with me, right? So we had a hard conversation. We decided to part ways, which we're still great friends. I have Sunday dinners with his family every Sunday. I was just with him, helping him take a swing set for his little baby girl's birthday today. And so yeah, I branched off from him. I attended one of your seminars, Jack, and I'd met you previously. I gave you a phone call, and I think you were on a train in Germany at the time. And you said, "Hey, Mike, I'm on a train in Germany. I might lose you." And I was like, "This guy, he's answering his phone. He's on a train in Germany. Who does that?" He's I would say he's pretty legit when it comes to business, right? And that was one of the first inklings of trust I had with you, Jack, other than conversations we had. But from there, you said, "Mike, you should join the coaching program. You have experience, right?" And I said, "Jack, that was the plan. That's why I'm giving you a phone call." I signed up right then, and then I had a coach shortly after. And next thing you knew, a blink of an eye, had done 50 deals and did 100 deals, and I was working with you guys and helping tons of students do a lot of deals. And now I have a pretty good business. Most of it's automated, which I'm pretty proud of, and I'm bringing on team members every month, it seems like, to be able to handle the things that I don't like doing. So yeah,
Right.
that's
So
where we're at.
Mike is really one of our experts in not just getting deals done, but understanding and coaching. And he now teaches his own coaching students exactly how to do those deals that are like not just the $3,000 deals, but also the $30,000 and $50,000 deals. And one of your students has doesn't she have like an $80,000 deal going on right now?
Yeah, happening right now. I've one with $130,000. I have one with 80,000. I had one on Friday that told me that they had just inked a $60,000 one, and the guy put $40,000 non-refundable, and
Oh wow!
he'd wired it over already. They were so pumped, and I was pumped for him. We celebrated on the call. It was a great
Right.
time.
That's fantastic. So that's great. So now let's go and jump into today. Today we're done. So you obviously see we got a power player here with us today, and we want to talk today about pivoting for profits. Now, pivoting for profits really means the following. It means we're going to talk about a multitude of different strategies and different ways to look at this business that allows you to get to faster profits in shorter time, right? Is that good? Who's excited about that? There's like 210 people on here right now. Let's have 210 people say yes, heck yes, that about this, right? Because we're 213 by now. So we want to know, talk about making big money, how making faster deals, how to making more deals. So one thing, I'll start with one way, and then Mike has a couple of ways that he wants to share. And that is the first way you can go about that is, and again, this is like first class knowledge right here, right? This is like the superior expertise that we're sharing with you, that superior expertise. That's what makes us the Howard of land flipping. We're not just teaching you how to get like bottom end $10,000 deals for $500. Anyone can do that. We're teaching you, we're showing you how to literally create a massive business out of this, a 6 and 7 figure business, as you should, if you're already engaging in something that could be life changing for you. So one of the things that you can do is I want to tell you a story about one of our students that has truly pivoted for profits. His name is Dave. He runs this business completely alone, without any other help. He doesn't have any VAs. He works a few hours a day from home, brings his kids to school, picks them up from school, and in between he has like 5-6 hours that he works to his business. Then he takes the kids for swimming classes and this and all this kind of competitive swimming, you name it, all this kind of things. But what he has done, he became a specialist in a certain area. as you will too. This morning we talked about picking 6 to 8 counties, going to testing these counties, going about that in that way. And soon enough, you'll find 2, 3 of these counties that are really just absolutely rocking it. So as you do that, you hone into these counties more and more and more. And Mike was going to talk about that, another strategy about that. But what you'll find over time is that you find an area that is in demand where houses are being built. One thing you can do is you can contact the builder over there and just ask the builders, hey, you guys looking for more lots? And that's what Dave did. He contacted the builder. He saw that there's a builder was building up a bunch of houses in that area. And he's like, hey, you're interested in more lots? They're like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, how much are you willing to pay for those lots? I can get you some. And they're like, well, if you can get us some for any lot that you bring us, I can pay you this, whatever this was. So whatever the price was, well, he figured out that he could probably get those properties for this minus about $12,000. So he went to town. He says, like, how many do you want? He was like, well, as many as you can get us, get us. So he's like, great. He went to work. He focused on those areas. He created the marketing strategy using our letters, just following up in a follow-up strategy. And within like 3 weeks, he had 12 deals on a contract. So he went back to the seller, 10 deals on a contract. He went back to the builder and says, okay, I got your first 10 deals. All right. So you're selling to me for that? And like, yes, absolutely. He bought them, made $120,000. Boom. Just like that in a matter of like in closing time, about 5 to 6 weeks. Then he's like, how many more do you want? He's like, well, can you get us another 20? He's like, sure. He went back to the market. It's a pretty large area because he knows it well. He just went after more and more and more deals. But even if it's not, and basically since then, he probably makes $250,000 a year just selling to that builder. And that's one pivot to profit method that you can just take the pieces, accelerate them by having one buyer that gives you a certain price and that buys from you again and again. Now, you can do that in the scale, or you can do this in smaller areas. You find an area that has like still 100 empty lots. You find somebody, go call around, find a builder in the area that's willing to buy a bunch of those, and then you go after, because now you have something to work down from. Typically, we offer so little because we want to make sure that we have a buffer. If this is a $30,000 property, we offer $5,000 because we want to make sure if we sell it for 15, we make a nice profit. 10 or for 20, we make our $15,000 profit. But if you already know somebody's going to buy it for 25 or for 20, then great. You go to market. Are you will? Because then you can afford to buy some for 5, sometimes for 7, some for 8, some for 10, some for 12. What is your minimum profit that you're willing to accept? So this is one strategy, but particularly in coaching, our coaches work with our students on really honing in. It's like, what else? Have you found somebody? Is there builders around? And that you can find somebody that buys multiple profits from one. So Mike, do you have anything to add to that? Have you done that, or is like pieces of that relate to that?
Yeah, we do that often, and I do that often, right? I got one right now that I got pulled up on another screen, but it's reverse engineering for success, right? And that's one of the most important things that you can do in this business or in any business, is to really sit down, know the numbers, and get intimate with the numbers, right? And know them like the back of your hand, know them like you know your spouse, and then even better. And once you have that down, like, anything's possible. It's not hard to go out and find 10 lots. And if once you're in an area and you know what that area pulls, right? It's not very hard to have a conversation with a builder and say, hey, John, what are you looking for? But there are 1,000 things happening in the U.S. right now that leads for perfect opportunities just like this. But I would start to say knowing the numbers, Jack, is probably one of the most important things. And
Why don't we go there, Mike? Why don't we go there? Why don't we go into knowing the numbers? You have brought a couple of cool things about that, right?
Yeah. I got a tracker over here. You okay if I share it?
Sure, let's share it. Let's see. Let me ask this to the stream right now. You guys can see this. Mike has a fantastic tracker that he uses to track which area pulls what for him to really plan out this business. Why don't we go ahead and you show some of these things?
Yeah, so I'll go through the budget briefly, right? Is we like to reverse engineer. You have a great podcast about that, Jack. And anyway, that was one of the things that sold me on your course, was sitting down and saying, hey, look, I know that this county and I know my average pulls this. Well, let me reverse engineer my profits based on X, Y, and Z, right? And it's something that we sit down with coaching students and do, right? You reverse engineer your letters. You say you need 5 lists or whatever, and you can really sit down and and look at your net profits, and then you can make a small deduction for your ability to make mistakes. It's always good to be able to factor in mistakes, and I leave that into operating capacity, right? But when we sit down with each of our students, and every coach now, they sit down with each of the students and say, hey, this is what this costs, this is what this costs, here's your pro forma, and I just want you to double check this projection, right? And based on this projection, this is what we go into. And then you have something to hold yourself accountable for and know if you're on the right path, right? It's a measuring tape to be able to know that, hey, look, I'm doing the right thing, I'm meeting these, okay, this makes sense, right? If not, you can go back and readjust it and move forward that way. So one's the budget, Jack, that's really brief. And then the second one is we'll do a numbers tracker based on counties, right? And
Yeah.
this number tracker based on counties, it's super simple, like and
Actually,
super
if we just stay with the
with the
budget
budget
for a
tracker.
little bit,
Okay, yeah.
I'll just share it in just a moment again. But the budget basically puts in a few parameters. You basically make a few assumptions. Let's say if you send out 1,000 letters and you get a 4% response rate, let's just pick one, right?
Yeah.
And you get which is still 4 to 8 times higher than most of the house flippers get a response rate. So it's conservative estimate. And then you get so many phone calls, you make so many offers, you got so many deals accepted. If your average deal has a profit margin of that, you can reasonably expect to make X amount of profit. So it's a really cool tool that kind of goes you through there. We don't have that much time, but that's kind of some of the tools that our students get walked through, particularly if they're in coaching with us, and that our coaches work with them on, because Mike shared that into the coaching program. That's really cool. So, and then he has even some additional safety parameters, like what if you don't sell every property? Now, does it happen that not every property is going to be sold? Yes, surprise, right? We're going to tell you the truth here. It's not, no. If you get 10 deals under contract, you can sell all 10, but occasionally it happens that just won't sell. That's why we don't buy them in the first place, right? That's why we don't go and buy these properties. We put them on a contract, and then we go list them and sell them and do a double closing, do an assignment, do a transactional funding deal. Well, we don't buy them until we have a buyer, or we don't do this transaction. So therefore, if a deal doesn't go through, guess what? You just cancel the deal and you move on, because it apparently was a crappy property, which occasionally, obviously, is going to happen.
And no sweat off your back either, right? The contract has a cancellation clause. And most people are, I find when I do that, Jack, they're, hey, Mike, you know what? I really appreciate you taking the time and trying to work with me on it, because it's an albatross around their neck. It's nothing new that you don't take it off. But I find, again, once you sit down and really, really look at the numbers, saying, okay, I'm going to send out 4,000 letters, and at a 4% response rate, 160 offer requests. Okay, and from there, I got my acceptance rate. I'm going to get 6 or 7 deals accepted. If my average number margins here, okay, I should be making this on a monthly basis, right? And if I'm not making this, well, then why am I not making this? And that it just leads you down that path to ask good questions, and then take it a step further, like we do.
And right, if I jump in, and why am I not making this? So if you have 7 deals and your average margin, let's say, is $10,000 minimum, then you should be making $70,000 per month if you do this consistently. Now, if you don't get 70,000, if you don't make 70,000, you only make $30,000 a month. Still a good month, by the way. But if you only make $30,000 and you want to get to that 70, then you got to ask yourself, what's not adjusting here? Could be the areas could be that you have been focusing on $5,000 properties, and you can't make $10,000 profit at $10,000 profit on a $5,000 property. So it's just not mathematically possible, right? So you need to upgrade your areas. Do you need to upgrade? Do you need to make sure you make a little lower offers? Are you valuing these properties wrong? Should you be offering a little more? And that's the ins and out. That's why this is a business and not a treasure hunt, because we are actually with those kind of tools, you can apply intelligence and business intelligence to your business. I love it, Mike. That's fantastic.
Jack, in a personal example of that, man, so I sat down at a mastermind group with you, right? And I said, hey, I want to increase my margins. Here are the number of deals I'm doing. This is that, right? And everyone said, it was a consensus, all land investors. I think 3 of them were coaches. And they said, Mike, you need to sell. You need to not sell as fast, right? I was selling things. What first offer that came in, I'd drop that price and I'd sell it. Mike, be more patient and be more patient with your properties and wait for them to sell. My background was I could get a house under contract and I would sell it in 5 minutes. I'd make 2 phone calls and if it was a good deal, it'd be sold right there on that phone call. If not, it would be the next day. And so I was in a hurry to sell every single property. So I was pricing them less. I said, Mike, look, set up a price drop strategy. And then from there, you're going to be good. And it'll take you a little longer to sell properties. You'll make way more on each property. And it doubled my margins, which doubled my business. And I doubled my deals, which quadrupled my business. It's just one little tweak by knowing your numbers and having something to hold you accountable to those numbers made a big difference for me.
Now think about that. Let's say somebody does 60 deals in a year, 5 deals a month, right? 60 deals a year, and let's say because of they've sold them way too quickly, they only made $7,000 a deal. So 6 times 7 is what, 42, right? So they made 400. Let's say $400,000 a year. If you now double your margins, you go from $400,000 to $800,000, and because of that and some other systems, you actually double the amount of deals that you do. And on each deal, you double your margins. You're going from $400,000 to $1.6 million a year. Not saying you're doing that, but you can go from $400,000 to $1.6 million with that one thing, with that one strategy, by knowing your numbers. That's what we talk about when we set our sights higher, and not just teaching you guys to do one deal, but to teach you, literally move you towards more of a mastery kind of program. And that takes obviously a little bit. It's not going to be done overnight. And that's what Mike has been doing. And so year after year, month over month, he keeps adjusting those things and just increasing his margins. Fantastic. Mike, you brought another sheet. Let's show the other sheet here right now.
What sheet, Jack? What sheet do you want me to show?
No, the second part of this first sheet where you have the county. There we go. Yeah.
County tracking. Okay, yeah. Good deal. So what we like to do here, right, is when we sit back and know the numbers, really sit down and get detailed with the numbers. We'll track these every single week. I want people that I work with, and I do it myself in my business, is to sit down and know, hey, look, if my campaign, for an example, I'm just going to put Polk County, Florida, since it's the most mailed county in the United States. And we got Polk County, Florida test mailer right here. I'll tag that using the CRM. And let's say I send 1,000 mailers here, and it costs me $720 if I'm using first class. And I get 15 offers, right, that are in pending. I get 25 offers that I sent, 2 on hold. I get 2 accepted and 1 sold there, right? Now, I look at my acceptance rate. My acceptance rate's it's right about where it should be, right? I get my offers, my response rate's right about where it should be. Well, I'll judge this county and say, well, this is a pretty good county. I sent my test mail here. All right, now let's go blast the entire thing, And guys, just for everyone listening, I'm not saying go mail to Polk County because these are your numbers. This is an example. But what I am saying is when you sit down and know your numbers, you don't waste money and you don't waste your precious marketing dollars in a county that may or may not hit well. For example, we'll call this county X, or the one below it county X. If I had a 2% response rate and I got 0 deals accepted, but if I wasn't tracking that and I just pulled the entire county list of 5,000 mailers instead of doing a test, Jack, well, then I'm going to have some problems because I'm going to waste $2,500. And if I do that 5 times over, well, then I just wasted a ton of money and I wasted a ton of time, right? And so, again, it's other methods in order to hold yourself accountable and really, really look at the detailed things in your business. Or you want to track your mail, track how that mail's responding, track how you're making offers. And let's say you got a great response rate, Jack. You send it to an amazing county, and I've been in counties where I've had a great response rate and I got 0 deals accepted, and I have to sit back and say, well, that doesn't make any sense. All these people, they want to sell. I wasn't able to put 1 under contract. Was I offering too much or was I offering too little?
Yeah.
So again, there are different ways in order to dive into the data.
Because there's actually interesting. There's different ways to dive into. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
You're good.
There's actually 2 reasons why a lot of people might call back. One reason is that the land is worthless and that's why everyone wants to get rid of it. So sometimes that happens, and you got to be careful. You do your value analysis, and then which we talk about later in this week, and you'll realize that, oh my God, this stuff is all worth only $2,000. Somehow I got the wrong county here, and then you just eliminate those. Another reason is that if the county is on fire in kind of competition, kind of like growth, the people all call you because they all want you to make a market value offer. However, in this case, you can still get deals done. You just got to go much higher, and that becomes dangerous. So you got to really have somebody to talk to and somebody to coordinate that with. Because if you're in a hot area, but if you've gotten an 8% response rate, you got 100 answers, and you make offers and you get only 1 or 2 deals accepted, well, there's many more deals sitting in there. But what you want to do is actually, that's another strategy for pivoting to profits, which is you want to go and do something like you want to go get that first deal done, and then if you got 1 or 2 accepted, get that deal done, and then use what you learned about that marketplace to then do more deals in that same market. So in other words, you do the deals, you do one, let's say you make 100 offers and you only get 1 deal accepted, which is unusual. Usually you should be getting a deal accepted for every 25 to 50 deals offers that you make, and over time as little as like 20 to 25 offers in there. But let's say you get 1 deal done and there's another 99 that you are not, or 2 deals done, you have another 98 that you haven't gotten accepted. Guess what? You can now go back in and make, based on if you bought this property or if you put it under contract for 10 grand and you sold it for 40 grand, guess what? Would you be able to buy more properties, go get another round of offers, do a second round of offers, and offer $15,000 or $20,000 for those additional properties? Because if you can also sell them for 40, why not? You're still making a $20,000, $25,000 profit. Could you go and offer as much as $25,000 on them because you still sell them for 40 and you still make a $15,000 profit? Absolutely, yes. But you only go that high after you have the experience of having sold one and having seen how much demand there is in that area.
And you know what you do there, right, is not only do you get more deals, right, but it costs you way less per deal.
Right.
You send out 100 letters versus a couple thousand, and so your cost per deal goes down, your earnings go up per deal, and usually you get more deals accepted after that just because you're offering more. But the beauty is you've already sold a deal in that area, and you know how fast they sell. You probably have buyers who've called you about it, right? You know how many calls are going to come in. And so it just becomes a lot easier to do a deeper dive into that area, Jack, like you're saying, and get more deals and really squeeze them for profits.
Now, you have done it recently. Tell us the example that you told me just before we went live.
Yeah, so there was an area that I was in. I got a few deals accepted and I sold them. I took the 300 closest neighbors that had similar properties. I sent them all blind offers, right? Now that county I sent out 5,000 letters to, right? That 5,000 letters cost me $250 or pardon me, $2,500 odd to send out, and then those 300 letters, they cost me $150 a piece to send out, 165 something, but to send out. And then I got 3 deals accepted off of theirs, and then I sold 2 of those deals. So again, it cost me $75 per deal versus the 1,200. And that county didn't hit very well. It's one of those counties that was really, really hot. And however, I knew that if I got something, I could sell it there. And so I pivoted a little bit in order to make more deals work in that area, and it worked out big time for me.
All right. So let me summarize that just for everyone's understanding. There's actually a good question from somebody right now that, by the way, make sure that you give StreamYard the authority to show your name, because otherwise all I see is Facebook user. So somebody says, what's a blind offer? So let me quickly explain that concept because it fits into the pivot to profit. The way we operate is that when we first go into an area, we send out what we call the neutral letter, right? The land profit neutral letter, land profit generator neutral letter. We sent that thing out that invites people to call us and then talk to us. And we can find out what's the motivation. We can find out, they tell us what they want for the property and so on. And then we go make an offer on these properties, right? So we make an offer, we get deals under contract, we go sell these properties. Great. We do assignments, double closings. We use all the things that I explained already, how you can do deals without using any of your money. Then what happens is, after we have a really good idea about how much demand there is in that market, what the prices are in that market, how quickly we can expect to sell the property and for what price. Then we can go and we can identify in that immediate area how many more similar properties there are. And then we don't have to send the neutral letter anymore because we already know everything about that area that we need to know. And now what we do, we send them directly an offer. Like we no longer send them a letter that asks them to call us back. We send them a contract in the mail with a nice letter that says, hey, we are offering you X for your property, because we already know now what we can sell these properties for, what the demand is, how sexy the area is, and all these kind of things. Now, other people in the industry teach to only do blind offers. We don't believe in that, because if you just do blind offers, it can be stupidly hard to do that, because you have to, like, let's say there's an area that's hills like that. Heck, every property is going to look different. Every property is going to have a different value. Every property is going to have different amenities. Every property ultimately turns out to have basically a different value. And as I said already, so in order to make a blind offer on these properties, if you know absolutely nothing about them, it's going to take you a lot of upfront research. Now, I have a question for you. Would you like to rather spend your time playing with your kids on the beach, going, I don't know, going hiking, going biking, going shooting, doing whatever you do for fun? Or would you like to sit in an office and just doing research on properties that if you don't even know if the buyers are going to accept if the sellers are going to accept your offer? Right? Or if they're interested in selling. So we don't start with those blind offers. It's a huge amount of work for very little results at the end, but we do go for blind offers once we have results in that market. Once we know we can sell these properties for 40 grand in that market, now we can say, okay, that first one we got for 10, sold it for 40, we made $30,000. That's fantastic here, right? That's fantastic. So now let me go and offer these additional people, like get a list of 300 people in that area or 150 people in that area that still own land. And let me go make a $20,000 offer to them, because I'm happy if I make $20,000 per deal going forward. Do you think you're going to get some more accepted? Absolutely, yes, right? And that's what Mike just described. That's a process. He did several deals in that area. He understood the market. Then he went, got information from all the people around, and then got more offers. That's the kind of stuff that we teach you guys. That's the kind of stuff. And the best part to do this is you actually want to have technology supporting you for it, right? You want to have a system that you can track those deals, that you can track the profitability of them, that you can automate the mailings, that you can do a lot of the research is automated for you, that it pulls in the links. And we'll talk about all of that tomorrow. I just wanted to clarify that part. But Mike, I know you brought another surprise for us, another really cool tool. So you want to share that, another pivot to profit kind of thing of how you can literally go into a market and figure out who are the best deals there and how to get more deals?
Yeah, Jack, I appreciate it, man. I was a little nervous. I was like, man, please say it so I can share it, right? So look, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough, on something a quick hot topic, right? On something that's been happening here in the U.S., kind of a phenomenon, and just so you guys know, look, I didn't jump on this call to sell anybody anything. I really appreciate it. You got 200 odd people here listening to me talk with
292.
you. I'm grateful for your time, guys, and I wanted to make sure we added some value here. The whole thing's valuable, right? But I wasn't going to jump on here and not try to add some serious value. So look, here's. Let me go ahead and pull up my screen, Jack. I got it pulled up right now, and like with COVID, for example, COVID's a big deal. We know people are leaving the inner cities and they're going crazy, man. Like I got a buddy that had a penthouse in Manhattan, right on looking over Central Park. He's paying $20,000. I don't know how somebody could do that, but that's it. That was his dream. He grew up in the Bronx. He said, "I'm going to do it, Mikey." So he did it, and anyway, in the moment COVID hit, he's like, I'm out of here. He's still paying rent up there. He went and bought him a farm in South Carolina. And I've seen that happen again and again. And not just wealthy people, right? Everybody fleeing these major cities right now. You see the exodus from California to Texas. I think that's one hot topic. But there's a really big one. And this one kind of hit me when my wife's uncle, he called me. He's like, hey, do you have some land in one of these areas? I'm looking for something to get away where we can put an airstrip on just in case something crazy happens. I was like, Ed, you don't know how to fly a plane. What are you talking about, man? What are we even talking about? He's like, no, no, seriously, seriously. I'm going to get my pilot's license. And if not, you can get your pilot's license and we can just make sure. So he started researching. I started researching. I found out it was this huge market for this prepper land, right? And I was like, man,
I'm
what?
part of a Facebook group that has 230,000 people in there, and all interested in living off the grid, living without, off the grid, building their own wells, solar thing, and having a piece of land that they're absolutely independent of greater society. Some of it want to do it because they choose their lifestyle. Some of them want to do it as a backup offer in case, like, COVID on steroid comes back or something like that, and like the Spanish flu comes or something and kills millions and millions of people, so that they can escape and be there with their chickens and their goats and have like, or do a bunker underground. I mean, it's all crazy. It's not crazy stuff. It's just, it's people have certain choices, and there's a big movement in the U.S. Of people that are looking for things like that. So some of those we sell our land, the more rural land, we sell to people that have their RV and their ATV and their dirt bikes and their kayaks and stuff. Some of them we sell to people that just want to have a piece that they can go go away and be away from
Disappear.
everything.
They just want to disappear for a little while, you know? And I found it's like an insurance policy, is what I found with a lot of these people. But I pulled it up, right? I pulled up Prepper Land, what it looked like, and pulled it up and then reverse engineered it. And when I reverse engineered it, I found like 3 counties in one of the hottest states for Prepper Land that it sold at the cheapest price per acre, you know? And if I know it's selling at a super cheap price per acre and they're selling it at market value, I'm like, well, darn, I could get it super cheap, you know, and then I could finance it off to these people. And so that's what I did, right? And it's a strategy I'm currently working in, and it's working well. You know, I just got an offer to accept it today for 127 acres, and I was pretty excited about it because it's at a ridiculous price. It's ridiculously cheap, and it'll be one that I might just keep for myself and use it for prepper land. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm in the business of selling, not holding, and that's kind of where I'm at there. Hey,
Oh
Jack.
yes,
Oh, I
I
was
was
going to say,
muted for
Jack,
a
cut off.
moment.
I got you. You're good.
I got the gardeners coming in the backyard now, so I'm muting myself a little bit so there's no background noise over here. But we're good. We're towards the tail end of you guys. So remember, we're going live every single morning at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. Pacific time. Michelle and I go live. Actually, yeah, Michelle and I go live, and then we also going live usually at 2 p.m. from now on in the afternoon. On and off. The schedule is right on top of the Facebook group, and as we run out of these days, we renew the schedule with the remaining days. So it's a big enough. Font. And so, you guys, what do you guys think? Is this exciting or what? So, like, again, you flip. This works from everywhere in the entire world, right? We people in Germany right now, with people in Switzerland, with people in the United Arab Emirates, in Dubai right now, we have people in South America, we have people in Canada, we have people in China, do this all over, from all over the world, in the United States. Yet we haven't even scratched the surface of the mountain in terms of competition. Like, literally, one of my students is in an area where I know it's one of the more popular area where there's probably like 10 counties in the country where there's a few more people doing this in parallel. And he has gotten 7 deals in the contract in the last few days, of which none of them has gotten any other offers really pretty much ever. It's absolutely crazy. So even if you're in an area where there's lots of people, don't worry about that. Then, because it's land, you don't have to visit it, right? You're attractive to the preppers. Now, Mike, you wanted to share something about how to do this. Should I share? Like, I want to let you go back into the prepper thing. Should I add the screen?
You know, look, there's somebody that said, "Show me the money here," and this is and so I pulled this up because I was going to interrupt you, then share it, but I won't mention this guy's name. You know him, Jack, right? Well, I was on a call with him the other day, and he pulls out this bag of cash, and he goes, "This is land money," and I said, "Hey, bro, I'm going to screenshot this. I need to keep this. I'm going to use this one day." And he said, "Okay." I was like, "Now go put that in the bank somewhere." He had like $60,000 in cash that he was just holding. He's like, "This is my land money, Mike. I buy with this stuff, you know, going
Right.
back and forth and they're buying and selling."
And he's making money because he's using our letter, probably, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, he is. It's 100% follows the system. But yeah, if I go back here, I'll show you what I did. It's just very, very simple. It'll take 2 seconds. right? Like, so I put best places for prepper land here on Google, you know? Okay, we got Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Tennessee, West Virginia. Okay, well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on and I'm going to look at areas in Zillow and I'll look at areas on LandWatch for West Virginia, Montana, Idaho, and we'll pull it up for West Virginia, for example. Here we go, West Virginia, North United States. I'll go down here. Let me select land. Bam. So now I know what prepper, now I know, okay, well, there are a total of, where's the total property count? Well, that's okay. Let's put in acres, 50 acres or more. The guy that wants to be a prepper doesn't want to be beside somebody on a 0.25 acre property. So now I know I have a 400 or 500 of these put together, right? Well, if I'm looking at my counties, I can see which counties pulled the most and I can see which counties pulled the least. And so now I can say, okay, well, if I look at it, I can go and I can dissect each of these areas or the counties with the most in them and dissect the ones that sell for the least per acre, right? If I know they're selling for the least per acre, it's probably off in the middle of nowhere, right? And it's probably not next to a major city where you have 50 acres selling for $700,000 or $800,000. It's probably selling for $50,000 or $1,000 per acre. And once you really, really dive in, you can see that, and then you can go hop on Zillow, see who sold the least, right? There's always one guy that sold at 60% less than the next guy. And you might find two or three of those, say, okay, there's an acceptable market for these offers. Then you just reverse engineer your offers, send those things out, and you are rocking and rolling. But again, this is just an example of what you can do. And it literally takes 20 minutes to do, you know, and it takes 5 minutes to identify the areas.
Muted again. This is a perfect strategy for the for Jeff. Fits right perfectly into what we talked about this morning about selecting areas, right? You want to select areas that are attractive. Like if you heard Mike, he says you go look there and you see if one area has like 540 acre parcels available, it's probably a very, very rural area. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just now look at Zillow, see like, well, how many have sold and what have they sold for? And if you see that most of them sold for 50 grand, but like 8 of them sold for 12 grand, then it's like, okay, there's some people. What he concludes for them is like, there is some people in that market that are willing to sell for less. And therefore, it's a worthwhile market to go after because it has activity. There's lots of properties. They're really attractive. And there is people who accept these properties as really selling for much less than the market. So boom, you found yourself an area. That's a great little tip to go find additional areas, additional counties to go there. So hey guys, that's fantastic. I mean, I love preppers. I mean, there's who else likes land? You know, tiny houses. Tiny houses is another huge movement. Right? And then COVID, as you mentioned, COVID has literally changed the outlook for land. Land was sexy last year. Holy cow, land is on fire now. Everyone wants a piece of land, but the sellers are still selling because the sellers are still bought it. They still bought it 30 years ago. They still inherited it. They still are a group like one of my students that we work with has like 4 of the 7 deals. He has 4 deals that came from heirs. Like the heirs is like, yeah, we just inherited. We have 3 brothers or 3 siblings. We got your offer. We talked about it. We don't want it anymore. We're happy to accept your offer. Boom, deal after deal after deal. They already probated it. This is a clean-cut transaction. And you just go, the title company does all the work. You flip them. One of them is worth $75K. He has it for $15,000. The other one is worth like $80K. He has it for $20K. And just go and flip them in no time. Now, there's a whole bunch of questions that I saw here about, I tried to kind of answer them in between. In the meantime, there's like, Mike, you got some good kudos here. Look at that. Mike Smyre is the best coach that we have on the team. And have the best team, many successful students. That's Bezier. He's actually Germany. He's doing this from Germany in the United States. And look at that. Some more good. Mike Smyre is worth their weight in gold and worth in platinum. All right, there we go. You're getting some love, my friend, which is awesome. You deserve every little bit of it. So yeah, this is exciting. So guys, pivoting to profit. There's our standard path of the land profit generator. They'll get you to some deals. But over the next few days, we're going to dive deeper in here, and we're going to share with you the strategies on how to sell these properties, the share strategies, how to list these killer deals, and how to list them such that they sell quickly. We're going to talk about how to select your counties tomorrow morning. So very, very important. How to get your lists. Actually, we selected how the counties today. How to get your lists. How to get the letters. How to send them out. Right. We're going to continue in the bonus sessions talk about the more ninja things of getting more deals quicker and so on, because you can really take this business and create it in a 7-figure opportunity for you, as Mike has done, as we have done, as so many of our students have done in the 6 and 7 figures. So with that said, so guys, again, make sure you put on the calendar tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Pacific, right, with Michelle and I again. Michelle's going to join us back again. And then tomorrow afternoon again at 2 p.m. Mike is going to join us one more time tomorrow. So you have another treat tomorrow with him. And you obviously have a treat tomorrow morning with Michelle joining us. And so with that said, guys, Mike, have any kind of last words before we jump off?
Yeah. One, guys, I don't want to seem ostentatious at all by showing that photo of my buddy with all that money. I coach him. But, and then two, look, guys, this business works. I'm a simple kid. I came from nothing. I got a little now. I try to remain humble here, but I drive a normal car. But I'm telling you guys right now, this system works. Right? If you have any doubts about it, just look at the Facebook page. You can see hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people that have gone through and done deals and really had life changes. It works. It really does. And it's changed so many lives. And that's the reason I do this with you, Jack. Like, I enjoy, man. There are students that I cried with, and there are students that I plan on crying with when that moment comes. There's students I celebrate with, and there's students that we have bad days together and I lose nights over. But and then there are just people that you can tell and you can celebrate, like that. Hey, look, I quit my job so I could take care of my grandmother who's dying. Or we see those stories all the time. It works, guys. It does. I'm telling you, it works. If you don't believe me, check out the Facebook page. The proof is in the pudding.
Right, and just check out this same group. There's success stories coming in every single day. So with that said, Mike, thank you so much for being on here with us. Thank you for taking out your time from your newborn baby and your wife to be with us. And with that size, 10 again, Jack Bosch here, Mike Smyre here. We're the number one. We're the Harvard of land flipping, the number one land flipping incubator in the country. We lead with care. We surround you with support. Right. And we'll talk to you more about that over the next coming days. And we'll lay out so much more detail. So make sure you block your calendar tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Pacific for the next session. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.
See you, Jack.